A new study on marital rape prompting feedback from the president of the Bahamas Christian Council. Despite the government's plan to introduce legislation to address the issue head-on, he maintains that this in itself will not foster change as the public and the church continue to be at odds. Cleopatra Murphy has tonight's top story.
Horrific.
That's the strong reaction of President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernander, in the wake of a new University of the Bahamas study that found 1 in 12, or an estimated 4,000 women, have been raped by their husbands. That report also suggests that some 6,000 married women say they have been the victim of sexual abuse, be it sexual violence, forced oral sex, unwanted sexual touching, rape, or other acts. Fernander says he now wants to have a strong conversation with pastors on the unsettling information.
That means 300 plus women, I don't know the timeline, have been raped. Unacceptable. And so I think the data can be the catalyst of a strong conversation as clergy. As I've spoken to the clergy, we've got work to do.
He says it may be too soon to describe marriages in the country as dysfunctional, but maintains marriage is not a government institution, but a God one, so the church must do more.
And if marriage is done right, God's way, you will respect your wife, and you would never, ever want to hurt your wife, because she is bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. And let's broaden it to spousal abuse that is taking place in our society. That's where we started. We started talking about spousal abuse, whether male or female. It's real.
Even so, the Christian Council president says he cannot force people to uphold Christian values.
See marriage the way I see marriage, then you don't see your wife the way I see my wife. I've been married for over 25 years. I would never, ever think about laying a hand on my wife or taking sex with my wife. I love her too much to want to harm her. And I think she loves me the same way. That we live our life understanding there will be days that we won't be engaging in sex. And if that is a day, it's not happening.
Fernander also backs Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis's advice to all women, even married, to report incidents of rape, as there are existing protections under the law.
I want to say, if you are being raped, if you are being abused, report it, start a file. I'm an ex-policeman. Start a file. And you might see some things work in your favor that you don't think works in this country.
As evidenced by the recent marital rape symposium, Fernander says the church is divided on the issue. While he can't tell leaders what to believe, Fernander says he is charged with convincing them of the best approach for society. He says a generation grew up accepting certain norms, and for those appalled by the views of some religious leaders, they must work hard to change a generation. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.